It's all right. It's only
Okay, so yeah, good
5
evening,
seconds.
everybody. Welcome to episode 56 of the Asylum Podcast. We missed you all last week. I hope you missed us. Probably not. But no, it's good to have you all here. We probably have just as much info this week as we did last week, but it's all good. We're gonna talk a little bit about 3.5 because why not? That's what everybody else talks about.
Yeah.
There may tonight a little bit of a pre-warning today. Today. It's like today and tonight at the same time. May contain salt.
Are we really live now?
Yeah, we've been live for
Oh,
ages.
hi!
Yeah, we're live.
Oh my god! Oh,
We're live.
Wow! Okay.
We're very live.
Okay, I think. Oh dear God.
We are very
FML.
live. We are very
Start
live.
again. Start again.
So you guys, I mean, the first thing, as always, I was away for yet again away for another live PTU release. CIG and me seem to be literally, it's almost as if they know when I'm going away and they go, that's when we need to make sure that we do a release because Madness is away. We don't want any more added salt to the situation. So let's just make sure that we do it every time he goes away. I don't know what it is, but I'm synced up because I swear, like somebody said to me the other day, is I go away in June 17th. I'm going away in the beginning of May, and then I'm away again. I'm going away quite a lot, actually, to be fair. But then most of May I'm away. But June I'm also away in 17th, which is supposedly yet again potentially when the next 3.6 will be. So I'm just like, I'm just away all the time. I may as well just give up my concierge. Just give it up. Just sell my account. Sell it all. There's no point anymore. I'm never going to ever get into these first wave PTUs again because I'm just never around. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But you guys got in. You got to enjoy the bugs. Miz is already Ivakadi, so he gets to enjoy the bugs permanently, as far as I can tell. I don't know how the man manages to stay. It's funny because you're like the contradictory. You're like Miserable should be the most saltiest person on this channel. It doesn't make any. It's never made any sense to me. His name indicates salt. It's like literally Miserable and salt should seem to go hand in hand. And you'd have thought he would have been worn out by now going through Ivakati, but yet the man still stands the test of time. I think he does anyway. He's still standing, still playing.
I'm still standing.
You're missing a
I'm still missing an M. I know. I was hoping he would change it, but obviously not.
It's coming. Don't worry. So it's Christmas.
Why is he called Iserable?
Is it me or does Buck have an aerial?
Yeah, you've got an aerial
Oh.
coming out your head.
Oh,
I don't think that's me. I don't think that's. I'm not getting blamed for the aerial sticking out of his head. Surely.
beady. Is that better?
So
Trick IR.
actually, as I'm here, and because we've got like you guys on, and there's some people here, I think who've contributed and stuff. I just want to say, yet again, for those people, for you guys contributed, you are the reason why this has arrived. 12, maybe 2 weeks ago. Thank you so
Why
much.
is that still in the box? Get it out of the screen, man.
It's
He's not
still
doing
in
the
the...
thank you. He's literally doing it to wind us up. That's what he's doing. It's got nothing to do with showing and saying thank you.
It's still in the box. It will be in the box for a little bit longer. Because I don't have, obviously, the microphone to go with it yet. But it has been ordered, and it will be arriving, hopefully, this week. But another thing that you guys have contributed for is, well, actually, no, I contributed myself, actually. I don't even know why I'm saying you did, because I bought it myself, so why am I giving you guys credit? But I got this new boom arm, so yay, woohoo, which is spring-loaded, which is amazing. This is what you get. Like, compared to my, like, £5 one, so this was my old one. This was the one that was, hang on, I don't know if I can show you the bit
I
that
got
was
that
kind
for
of...
the art.
Oh yeah, this was it before.
Now,
This was it. Like it's so completely wrecked. It's unbelievable. Like I can't even. Hang on. Let's see if I can show you guys. See if I can show you what it was before. Like that's the state. That's the state of the. It is so wrecked. Like it wouldn't even hold the weight. It was resting on it.
Did
on,
you do
on
it?
the
Did you
thing.
chew on it?
No,
No,
that's the
it
weight.
was
That's this. The Yeti weighs a ton.
Yeah, but I also tell you why, because he constantly does this when he was streaming. It was like that. Like,
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, you
I
can
do
do it
do
with a roadie one. No problem. But this
Yeah, the roadie one
stuff
is
that's
tremendous.
not
So,
used
again, all of these things, little improvements, but it makes a world of difference. So so when the microphone comes in, we'll be setting up the Go XR. So the professional of all the people, like we've got Toby here, we've got Bok, we've got Miz, got all these people who read instructions, are well organized, well prepared, and make sure they understand exactly what they're doing. None of them have their Go XLRs yet, and the one person who literally flies from the seat of his pants, just plugs shit in and prays to God it works, which is me, has got everything first. So I'm like literally waiting. One of the main reasons why also this hasn't been unpacked is I'm waiting for them to get there so they can show me how to do it properly. So it's I'm gonna have to try and figure it out myself. I'm glad. Sorry. That's just the way it is. I know these other people are like got all these amazing gear, and I'm sorry, I'm just terrible. Okay, but it'll all be tough. The other thing that's amazing, you guys notice, I've had these I had these Sony headphones. Yeah, they're like 200 quid headphones I bought specifically for travel. They got this amazing sound. They're whatever they are. They're amazing anyway. Great for planes, but I couldn't get them to work with my Bluetooth. This is just a sums up kind of like they're great for planes. They're fantastic for planes, and they are really good for planes. And I couldn't get the Bluetooth to work on my my other Bluetooth system, and I was trying for ages. And then I realized that you have to pair them, and the way you pair them when I got back was if you press the button and hold it for a long time, it then does this little flashing light thing. And then I did the same thing with my one. And then what I didn't realize is, I think because I tried it before but it didn't work, was on my Bluetooth thing you have to spin and it indicates how many things it's found. And it went from 4 and it suddenly said 5 and it found it. And then I span it and I was like, there's my headphones. And then it paired. And so I've been using
Starburger's like all Bluetooth.
I had been using these. I've been using these ones too, these were meant to be my
I'm
replacements.
surrounded by
For way
amateurs.
longer.
No, excuse me, I'm not going to be classed the same fucking level as him. I mean, he's below amateur.
Every Bluetooth device you have to... Yeah, it's a pair.
How many Bluetooth devices
I was
has he
sure
not
I-
paired?
I'm
He's probably
sure
got all
I'd
these
done it.
smart gadgets around the house and not one of them work. Not one of them
being
talks to each
smart.
other.
I'm going to tell you now, right? Seriously, legit. Like, there is a stack of Bluetooth devices that were designed to try and make these work that I bought from the internet. Like, I bought a whole new Bluetooth receiver, reception thing, everything. Like, I bought to try and make this thing work.
Oh my god.
I can't tell you how many different things I have bought to try and get this to work over the last couple of months.
All these smart devices without a single smart user.
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it? It's like, it's a sad
Yeah.
situation.
Are you a brother of Ryan?
I think me and Ryan are pretty close on the spectrum. I think we're on the same bell end of the curve,
so.
as it were.
Do you have a smartwatch as well, Madness? Like, have you actually bothered pairing that with your devices as well?
Yeah, I tried, but it stopped working, so I've given up using it for the time being. I'll figure it out again. I'll figure it out. I know this is. I've stopped.
Just
No,
not
this
at
is
the time.
I couldn't get it. Never mind. We'll move on. We'll move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, talk yourself out of it.
Let's move on. This is one. Actually, do you know what? Seriously though, this does sum up as well. Like my general frustrations with 3.5 is I've gone through so many different iterations and so many different key bindings and stuff, and then 3.5 comes in, and literally I think we played with Miz, and I was like, oh, this will be fine. I'll just jump in. I've done the key bindings not too long ago. The hottest, no, straight forward, straight back. It'll be fine, no problem. 20 minutes of faffing, I realized pretty quickly, no, I'm gonna have to go to mouse and keyboard. I couldn't do it quickly at all on stream. It was torture. It was hell. It was like, all mouse. And I was like, no, I can't. It's completely changed. It's all completely new. And literally, I have to sit down. Looks like I'm gonna have to sit down for at least an hour, just to kind of get my head around exactly what's doing what again. You know, it's It's
Same
totally. I mean, I get that it's different. I get it happens. That's genuinely a part of those things. But it was. I was like, why did it have to be so radically? Like they moved buttons that you would kind of go, well, why did you? What was the why?
Did they move them?
Yeah.
Getting out of your bed.
Oh God.
Whatever, and then an April Fool's joke that will let you eject, and
Yeah, so I played with Madness when he came back and he goes, 3.5, this is my first try. Oh, Miz, get on and we'll come on and we'll do some content. I was like, oh, fine. Okay, so we were flying. What did we take? Was it the Super Hornet or something?
We took a few rides. We took the Hurricane out. We took the Hurricane because it's two-seater, so you have the Sabre on top.
Yeah, that's it. So it was in the Hurricane. And we're flying, we're quantum jumping and I pressed Y.
Yeah.
And of course, they've changed it now so that Y gets out of your seat.
Yeah.
And I'm in a fucking turret with no ship to get into. So we literally just climbed, and you can't stop it. So we literally just climbed out of the fucking plane in the middle of ship in the middle of quantum. And I'm just like, Madness, stop, come back for me.
I don't. It's like
Who
like
rebinds it to Y? Oh,
well, there's a few things. Like, are you sure that you really want to climb out of this vehicle at the moment? Or it's not even actually. To be fair, it's not even. Are you sure you want to climb out in quantum? You shouldn't be able to really climb out of your ship, unless you should have all sorts of safety mechanisms. Like on a plane, I don't just get out of my seat and go up to the plane and open the door and step out of the plane. I mean, there's a lot of safety measures to stop that from happening, because it's dangerous to myself. But I do think, this is a game, so I'm like, I recognize that, but I do think that they should have some way of cancelling an animation, like during the animation. Like you could just press escape and you just cancels the animation. So you
no.
you
Why are you
save
getting out of the
yourself.
seat?
Oh no,
It's like
escape. Okay.
Because getting out of your seat's so slow as well. It's a painful way of doing it. Because no, oh shit, oh no, it's getting out. No, stop.
Yeah, you
animation that really annoys me the most is getting out of bed. It's just sitting there, staring into the depth and looking at his knees, and then eventually comes out of bed, and it's just horrible.
But
they really need to speed that up.
I don't think they will, because that is just preparing you
Immersion.
for the rest of Star Citizen. It's like, if you think getting out of the bed is slow, I've got some news for you, buddy.
Oh my God.
Getting out of bed is probably the quickest part of Star Citizen. Because everything else is to slow you the fuck down.
Well, not everything, but I do agree. Some new stuff is, terrible.
The only thing that's quick is death in Star Citizen, because you die the minute you fucking get out of bed, the minute you walk to a ship, the minute you do anything. Pretty much, that's the only thing generally that kills you pretty quick, especially if you were early on. That's quick. Me realizing that this patch is going to be garbage was fucking quick. That was a reality quick change. I was like, oh my God. I was flying with Miz and I was like, I'm having a good time with Miz. I'm not having a good time with this game, because I'm like, I know straight away that this game, immediately within like 20 minutes of playing it, I was like, we got problems. We got big problems.
I wouldn't describe it as garbage, but it's...
No, it's what's different. What's different? Like we've got a whole new flight model, and anyone says to me I'm like, this isn't that much better. Like all you've done is swap. Like you can do the same shit. Like I could go from A to B with the old flight model. Like what actually has ultimately changed? Okay, you could say to me, we could say the bigger ships feel more weight to them. Well, is that because you're drifting more? Or is that because they actually physically feel more weighty? The only reason they feel more is because you can't stop the fucking things, as far as I can tell. It's like it takes you an hour and a half to stop it. So I'm like, that could have been put in the last one. That's not that difficult. You just make it so it's harder to slow them down. That's not that difficult to do. That really isn't that difficult to do. If that's what people refer to in terms of weight of the ship to slow them down. I'm like, come on.
It wasn't. I don't know. One of the rumors was that the flight model in 3.5, the person, obviously we're not the rumor, but the person that was doing it left, And I think that I don't know. One of the things I heard was that they didn't know how to change it without him being there, which meant they needed to kind of redo it. So I think that's kind of why we've got it. But I mean, so this is one of the arguments we've had a lot, and this is probably what most of the podcast is going to be about, I'm afraid. But it's whether it's not necessarily whether the flight model is crap or whether the auto gimbal is probably the biggest issue. And the problem is you've got the two merged together at the same time, plus lots of other little things like the overheating and everything else. It's making the whole thing feel terrible when it's probably not. So many little tweaks that are causing bigger issues, I think.
Okay, so
Let
it
him
is
start.
It's terrible, okay,
Here
and
comes
it's terrible for a few reasons. It's terrible because we are still we're like, what was it, 3 years down the line, and it feels like it's all starting again, and I'm like, okay, we're starting again. At least let's get like it really good and dialed in. Now, I kind of like, it just feels like it's still needing a huge amount of work on the thrusters, like the changes, and also it's like, it's not fun for me personally as a combat person. Like, to some other combat people it might be fun, but for me personally it's not fun. And then a part of me is kind of like, okay, because I'm playing devil's advocate on the hate here. A part of me is like, we were talking about this the other day, it's like, is it the flight model that's making it not fun? Is it the ESP and the aim assist that's not making it fun? This is just for me. I know for everyone's different. At the end of the day, I'm going to try and claw back slightly here. I'm not going to say my fun is better than your fun and all the rest of it. I don't want to be in the world of fun, but I'm just saying, for me, why am I not enjoying this experience right now? And it's like, okay, so is it purely the flight model? No. And I'm going to say it straight up. I don't think it's purely the flight model, because there's some aspects of the flight model that were okay. I got my head around it fairly competently, fairly quickly. I was like, yeah, I can kind of get this. I'll probably be okay with this eventually. You know, I'll probably dial this in and get pretty good at it. So, but it was like, but it's still, it was a lot more work. You know what I mean? In terms of the way that the mouse, and then people were saying, well, you need to do this and you can try this and do this. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Maybe there's a way I can make the flight model work for me. But then it still came around to me. I was like, the way that they've fundamentally changed the system to be thrusters in the back and not really any of the side thrusters kind of just blew my mind in terms of like, why are we this is a space game. I'm like, spaceships. And then everyone talks about the Expanse. And then I'm like, have you fucking seen an Expanse spaceship? It's like this long. It's like a turd. And it's got thrusters everywhere. It's like got one big ass thruster and about 20 million. Like the Mars spaceship has thrusters in all directions, so that thing can go whoa, 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 all over the place. I was like, our ships have got, if you guys have looked at some of them, they've got like a couple thrusters. It's got a couple. Oh, this is the whole new one. It's got a couple thrusters. Microphone disappears and Madness hits the microphone, runs away. It's got thrusters, like just a couple of thrusters in the back, like the Freelancer I was looking at, and some of the other ones. No wonder the nose is flapping all over the place. I'm like, so they have to relook a lot of these ships in terms of where they're putting their thrusters and stuff. If you know, so that for me is like, okay, there's a shit ton of work there to be done. And then it's like, okay, well, that's not the main issue. Then we go into the ESP. 1.5 years of not getting the ESP to work. It's still fucking broken. We then go into the fucking this auto gimbal aim assist garbage that is just like, what are you doing, CIG?
Well,
why are
garbage.
you implementing? It's total garbage for us. We should not be using it other than it's in turrets. Turrets
it should
only.
be a choice for other people, but
That's
fact
garbage.
what we were talking about before the podcast. Go there.
Yeah. No, if you have it in, just give it NPC. Just put it in NPC only. Like in my head, it's like, just put it in with the NPCs. I get if you want the NPCs to have auto aim, and put it in the turrets. Like, okay, if you have to have it in, if that's what it's for. But I don't think that's what it's for. I honestly think it was made because they couldn't figure out ESP to work, and they were desperately trying to get the old one, which everything was zipping around everywhere and flying around, to try and track them. And so we've ended up getting this new system to try and like a Band-Aid that's slapped over the top of another Band-Aid that doesn't work to try and fix so that people can hit shit, because people couldn't hit anything. And I will adamantly say this. If you spent 1 hour with me, I could have taught you in the previous model how to hit something and how to be a much better pilot. But this was my fundamental problem.
Were people really that bad though? Were people
people
not able to hit shit? Is that really the case?
I think, do you know what the thing was? The lasers didn't work. The 3.4, like honestly, seriously, from the minute that item 3.0 come in, ESP kind of got broken. Whatever happened with the targeting got broken, and it's been trash ever since. Honestly, from the moment we transferred from 2.6.3 and 3.0 came in and rewrote some serious coding, there's been a massive problem. Like legit, if they had bind calling and all the rest of it came in with the item 2.6 flight model and everything else, and we had the performance of 60 frames that we have now with that flight model, honestly, the game would be like bugger. It would be so good. It would be so good for like everybody, because you'd have the combat guys would be having a ball and everybody else would be having a good time. It would be a good game. Honestly, missiles would work and shit would be going great.
The auto gimbals.
So anyway.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Auto
Maybe
gimbals.
a bit too easy right now.
Okay.
The fact that we are not able to fly nimble and dodge and go all around that other ship, that's what's bothering me.
Yeah. Okay, so
that ties in with the auto gimbals though, because if you can't outmaneuver them, then the auto gimbals don't work. Like it's like the auto gimbal. So this is what we said. Kind of, we was discussing it before. And with the old flight model, the auto gimbals probably would have worked because the ships were flying and evading quite a lot. So giving someone a little bit of help to target that may well have worked. It's like they've used the auto gimbal, which would have worked on the old flight model, and then put it on the new flight model, and it doesn't work on the new flight model because it's too easy. And like, you just,
okay, so I played. Okay, so anyone like I see Dot Law saying that it does like in the PU versus AC. Sorry, dude. I mean, I love you, man, to bits, but you're completely like we played it, and like I had video footage of me, and it was just a laugh. It was a joke. I was sat there in what I don't even know what vehicle, was a freelancer or something, and I was just sat there, and there was ships like, I mean, what the fucking hell is the AI team doing? I got ships spinning around doing fuck all, like just sitting there in front of me, and I'm shooting, and my gun is like half my gun is hitting them without me even trying. The other half is hitting.
Interdicted, and the ships just stood still and just ran. It's just literally just flew.
Don't get me started with the interdiction. Like, okay, again.
You were shooting this last, like, it was funny.
We have seriously the biggest, like, honestly, interdiction. Let's just get this garbage out of the way with again as well. Again, okay. They brought in interdiction. When did they bring interdiction in the first place? Was it 3.2, 3.1, 3.2, something like that?
I think it was 3.1.
Yeah, they brought this system in. I think it was universally panned as a pile of shit, okay? Like, generally, universally panned as, like, it doesn't work, it's broken to shit. And so they took it out, okay? Oh, lo and behold, has it improved? Is it better? Does it work? Does it fuck? It's garbage again. Let's put that fucking pile of shit back in the game and it's going to make this game brilliant. No! Just no! Come on. Like, seriously, that is like the definition of insanity is doing the same shit over and over again. And this is literally the same shit over. It's like, you think we didn't notice? Oh, sorry, hang on. The entire playing field has left this game and hasn't returned. We've got a whole new bunch of people. So we throw this pile of crap back in on top of it. Like, okay, that's that done. That's my view on that one.
I don't understand why they threw that back in though. Like, what? Yeah, I don't actually know why they just decided to switch.
It's just literally why. This doesn't make no sense. So for me, it's like immediately I'm like, guys, seriously, fucking can that go away, relook at it, get it working again, and come back with us with it working better. I mean, if you put it in just because you want criminal size 5 hammerheads interdicting people, that's maybe a reason, but like seriously, like it is so cancerous on when we already have to do so long jumps between things. It's so random. It's garbage. It's just literally just take it out for the time being. Bring it back when you've actually made it different. It's cancerous. Anyway, that was the saying. Instinction, yes, trash. Auto gimbal. So like the auto aiming system for me, like I was in it and I've got one gun targeting this thing spinning around. The other gun doesn't even know where the fuck it's aiming. It's all over the place. It's like the pit's not even near the pip. One pip's on the left, other pip's on the right. Then I'm like, okay, let's try this auto. Then I'm like, okay, we'll try another thing. Then we'll try the auto gim thing. And then it's like, I just literally just sat there just going, I can't miss. And then I just literally go like this. And then I'm going one-handed gaming like this with my mouse, just going, yeah, this is hard.
Send in the auto gimp.
Let's move on to the next target. Woo! Oh, God, I'm so glad I spent all this money on this £500 spaceship that's got a huge gun that's size 4.
I bet you got your purples now, though.
You know, if you've got a size 5 gimbal, you've got a size 4 gun on the end of this thing. Again, all these people who talk about, don't worry, the size guns will be lower. They'll be lower for all the plebs who've got the smaller ships, but those fat bastards who've got those huge ships.
Because when I did it in Arena Commander, I did it with the Freelancer, and I thought, I wonder if I could take the Starfarer, because that's got even bigger gimbal guns. And it wouldn't let me because I can't have the Starfarer in Arena Commander. But I was like, because that thing will one-shot shit with an auto gimbal. It's going to be quite lethal. And like the other thing that they didn't change, because in that demo that they showed you on ATV, the circle, the auto circle was massive.
Yeah.
And they all and everyone flared up and said, "Whoa, what's all this fucking auto?" And I said, "No, it's fine. This is just for testing purposes. That circle will be smaller." And then we get it. And it's a fucking massive circle. It's huge. I mean, I get
fucking North Pole.
Well, I don't have I actually don't have a problem. Honestly, if they could make the circle as big as the whole fucking screen, as far as I care, it's like it's fine. So long as the algorithm for it means that you miss a percentage more than you hit, I would kind of be okay with that a little bit. I'm not okay with it. What am I talking about? I'm just not okay with it. Only in turrets, only on NPCs. Get back to what you sold me. Skill-based game. There is nothing skillful about it.
Right? And like we did know this was coming, and I did speak about it before, because this is like the AI that's going to be used for when you hire gunners for your ship and stuff. You're going to have this auto shoot in. But the problem is, if they're auto hitting that easily, then again we go back to the trap of, why would I hire a player to come and use my turrets when they can have this auto gimbal, which they're going to do, the AI is going to do so much better with than you manually doing it.
Sorry, I just saw thinking. Yes, we're in the PU, dude. When I didn't try I haven't actually done the Arena Commander thing that Red Lear did. I only played the PU. I don't really do.
I did it in Arena Commander. I did both Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm. And I did it
one-handed
with one. I did it with the Freelancer miss. I just pressed C to go 150, and I didn't do anything else. I didn't use any missiles. I just literally just flew straight forward, turned around with the mouse, aimed and shot. And it's all right saying, I know what you're saying, do it in the PU, but the thing is, the AC is meant to be representative of the PU. Like, it's not like, auto gimbal works in the AC, but it doesn't work in PU. If it's not working in the PU, then it's probably a bug, because it's supposed to work the same as it is in Arena Commander. They're the same thing.
Mechanics should be the same. It's your training ground. So it should be exactly the same.
PU that doesn't think, it's going to be fine because it's not working in the PU. They're not on different mechanics. Why it's not working in the PU, I don't know, but it's supposed to be the same.
Exactly. I mean, the difference is between that is you've got more space in the game. You don't have asteroids necessarily everywhere, so your flying styles change between Arena Commander, your fuel management style changes, but the actual fundamental mechanics of auto aim and shooting and missiles and countering, it should all be exactly the same between Arena Commander and the Persistent Universe. There should be no real difference between the way the ships handle and move, and it should be all exactly the same between the two. Because otherwise,
exactly for the networking part, then.
Apart from
that's different.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but again, that's still
the auto gimbals up on the PU. It's probably the network. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can still even if we're talking like a little bit of a lag or whatever else, that's still fundamentally the way that the thing is hitting something or tracking something, or the fact that I'm able to drink one-handed and hit something is a laugh. It's a joke. It's nothing short of a slap in my face. Seriously, it's a slap in my face, because I was told this was going to be a skill-based combat game. And then they introduce this system, and then they give it to players. And what it does is, like I said, it makes the bridge between the average player. At the moment, the balancing is way off, okay? And at the end of the day, I want CIG to come out and say, we 100% be like, we know. I think Chris said something about balancing, but I really want some, I don't, maybe someone knows the tweet. If someone's got a link to something that said, like, maybe I've missed something, where they come out and they say, look, we 100% know this is garbage and it's going to be fixed. The patch is going to be fixed in the next couple of weeks, because, like, honestly, this is not what you said the game was going to be. This is not what you told us that it was going to be. You cannot say this is going to be a skill-based game and then literally rip out the skill and just fucking slap on a blind. This is my baby, man. You're ruining my baby.
I was actually going to bring it in this way anyway, but as the Dark Lord says, it's like, okay, so this is like us in our, obviously it's going to be an initial reaction, and the weird thing is, I think as well, is it doesn't help that it looks like the community is like we said before, it's a crap analogy or a good one, depends on how you want to see it, but this is like the Brexit patch of Star Citizen, because half the fucking people seem to love it and half the people seem to absolutely hate it, and there's no in between. And it's really split the community. But the thing that people do need to remember is this is the very first iteration. We have been told several times that even, like Coulson did say, as soon as it's going in, he said, this is not the full flight mechanic, which kind of begs you to wonder why put it in. But I feel almost like they've done it through pressure, that they had to put something in. Because if you're not giving us the full mechanic, then what the hell are you actually giving us to test?
So didn't Coulson say that he's currently only fixing broken stuff instead of tuning the flight system?
Look, it's like, I know it's not the finished one. It's just I worry the slippery slope that we're on. It's like I worry about the iceberg. I worry, is this just the tip of the iceberg, and underneath here is just this awful mountain of mediocrity in gameplay that we're going to get. Like, again, here's my other view on this one. You're going to put auto aim in. This is where I look at it, okay? And I said this earlier when I was streaming earlier. You were building a game mechanic to appease to a group of people who just can't be asked. That's the way I look at it. You just can't be asked to learn how to become a good pilot. You just want it easy. You just want to be able to hit that guy over there easy as pie. Now, why should you, as in your gaming right, have that privilege when I don't get that privilege for other game mechanics? That, for me, pisses me off more than anything. If Chris Roberts makes it so that I can have an auto aim for every single other aspect of the game, make it fucking mediocre across the board, fine. But he won't. They'll just make, you're just making PvP only have this piece of shit on top of the game so people can just hit because they can't be bothered or they don't want to put the time in versus the other people who put the time in? Because I tell you, you just need about an hour and I could teach you how to be a much better pilot. That's not really cool. That's like, I don't get it. Like it's you're appeasing that majority of people who just can't be bothered. That's not cool. That's just like, and you're just going to make a mediocre, dumbed down aspect of the game. Come on, it's just it's like, if you don't want, the thing is, like, honestly, you don't have to be the greatest. Like, I'm not the greatest combat pilot. I'm not elite or whatever. Like other people, there are people who wipe the floor with me. But I can teach you to be able to defend yourself, to be able to understand the basic mechanics, to be able to understand enough to be able to be competent, to be able to enjoy it. That's the reality of it, to be able to enjoy it. Like, I've taught several pilots already, people before I've been taught myself, we had a group of people. It doesn't take that much effort. But the reality is most people just don't want to. It's not their type of game mechanics, it's not their type of gameplay. And I get that. But just because it's not your type of gameplay, why do you have to have the privilege of a game mechanic to make your experience easy?
If it's not your type of gameplay, why are you even attempting to do it? Just go and do the gameplay that is your type of gameplay. There's no point. What I don't get is if, like, so someone in chat just said that it's like it's the top 10. The majority of people that play in the game aren't going to be good pilots or whatever, aren't going to be good combat pilots, which is fine. But that means that if that was really the case, then that means that all the people that aren't very good are going to be against the people that aren't very good. Like, you're not going to get that 10% of top pilots that are going to go and own all the server everywhere. Like, so it wouldn't make a difference. The main thing is that you you can attack and kill AI NPCs, as long as you're able to do that with a reasonable standard, if that's what you want to fight. Like that's the only issue. You don't go up against combat pilots that are better than you. Like if I go and play PvP in a first-person shooting game, there's no way I'm going to be surviving against people that are playing competition levels. That are like doing elite sports. But I can go. That's why you have normally in a game you have matching. Like what's it called? They match your skill levels so that you're playing against people with a similar skill level. Now, obviously, Star Citizen can't do that while you're playing the game. But your mechanic for getting away from someone that's better combat than you is running away and not fighting combat, and you learn who you should fight against and who you shouldn't fight against. You don't need to dumb it down for everybody, so that just because then everybody's a great pilot. Like, what's the point in that?
That's just it's the word. It's this the dude. Like, and I'm just seeing some things in chat, which there's some really great comments here. Okay, so there's a couple because they're all fucking wrong. DeGunther, he's brilliant. I love your comment, dude. Love your comment. Okay, so I can't find a game. You can't make a game last for 10 years. We're dealing with 10% of the top pilots. I agree with you in that sense, but what I'm saying is again, you're kind of like thinking that like the game is only combat. The game is other things. So there are whole other parts of the game to enjoy. So again, my point is still stands. Like, why punish one part of the game for a group of people who don't ultimately want to do combat? That doesn't make, like Miz just said it, exactly that. It's like, it just makes no sense to me.
That's what I was kind of answering.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Because it's like, if there's only 10% that's the elite combats, then everybody else is going to be in the same boat anyway, but they're going to be in the same boat as not being very good. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long
and
as
you fight
you're not
NPCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting NPCs. Like, you're fighting NPCs.
Yeah, I mean, look, and that's what Arena Commander is good at showing, because that is the AI at the moment that we currently got. And so those people that aren't that good at being a pilot, I suggest, I mean, I've seen for patches and patches people on Facebook who don't consider themselves combat pilots, who have been doing waves of Vandal Swarm, who have unlocked the ship from it. They've managed to do it in Arena Commander. So they can attack AI pilots and they can attack kill AI. So it's like, what level are you trying to make these people? What are you trying to do? Like, if they can, like, I'm certainly not fucking great. When I do PvP against Madness, he kicks my ass. However, when I was doing ICC missions against AI, I could win. Like, I didn't die. So I wasn't asking for auto aim. I just I hit enough to be able to do the missions that I'm doing. But my stance would have been, I'll do combat against AI pilots. When it comes to PvP, you won't see me probably doing it unless it's an organized battle or I've got like people with me to fly and do an organized battle. I won't go and start challenging someone like Madness. Like when sometimes people used to camp the ICC station and stuff. Like, I wouldn't even engage. They start shooting at you, I just jump off. I carry on with the mission because I know that my skills are probably not good enough. So I bugger off. And that if that's what most people, if 90% of the gaming community are like that, then you shouldn't need the auto aim to make them better, because they're all going to be a relatively similar skill level.
They want to kill us without any of the training, any of the effort, any of the years. They want that little button that says fucking hit win. I'm like, that's what you had missiles for. That's what you had your torpedoes for. We get better at dodging those. No, I don't. That's too much. I need to now suddenly have auto aim as well, so that I can definitely. They just want that joy of being able to kill
where
us.
The maneuverability comes in, Madness.
Oh, yeah, they limited the movability. Yeah, where they're just taken away. So the balancing, the balancing is so wrong. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
dude.
but that's the part of the whole iteration right now. So if they're gonna change that, I'm fine with the auto aiming stuff and the auto gimbals, whatever, but give us the ability to maneuver and aim great, just like before. That takes away a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, but again, this goes back to my point. They can't fix that. They haven't been able to fix aiming for nearly 1.5 years. They can't get ESP to work.
But also, chat saying that they gives pilots an opportunity to fight back or run away. Not if everybody's got it. If one side's got auto aim and then the other side's got auto aim, you're just making both people hit. In fact, these pilots are going to hit you more than they were going to hit you before. You're giving them a tool that makes them hit you more. If you didn't have auto aim, they would hit you less. So
Exactly.
Get away.
Exactly.
It's bringing you maybe. It's not even bringing you closer to the top pilots, because the top pilots could put the auto gimbals on and do exactly the same.
Oh, trust me, I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen four mouse drivers, sabers, cluttering Arena Commander. I'm watching some of my favorite pilots just like, oh, I'm dead again. Oh, guess what killed me? Oh, a saber with frickin' mass drivers and an auto aim saber with mass drivers. Oh, another automate. And it's just like, and then you're watching these people who you're like, these are not better pilots than this person. They're just like, it's just taking advantage of the system.
Who's got the best gear then? And this is what it does. It turns it into a who's got the most expensive gear and the most expensive shields.
That's in every game.
Yeah, but then that adds to the pay to win side of things that they're trying to avoid.
It's in this
now if you buy the better ship
base game
with the better weapons. It shouldn't be every game. It shouldn't be the equipment. The whole point of a skill-based game is that someone with lesser equipment could potentially still do a fight and win. Whereas now it won't be. It'll be if they've got a better ship with better guns. Like I said, if I got the Starfarer with a bigger gun, I don't need that because of the flight. The thing is, it's because it's tied in with the new flight mechanic. If you had to do the old flight mechanic, it probably wouldn't be as in your face, because people could dodge the auto gimbal targets. Mm-hmm. But I think with them slowing everything down, even a freelancer, which is not even supposed, like people argued when we moaned. So the patch before, when the freelancer didn't maneuver very well, the argument was it's not a fighter. The freelancer isn't really a fighter, therefore that's why you can't maneuver it. Now my freelancer is more powerful than the Hornet and everything else, because I can literally turn, because everything's going so slow, I can turn and keep on a target. So I'm using the freelancer to blow the shit out of something. I took that out instead of the Hornet out in Arena Commander to win, because the freelancer was, and I did it in 20 minutes with the freelancer, and that's not a combat ship. So it's kind of throwing everything off with this new mechanic. It's not necessarily that auto aim is a bad thing. I know madness is 100% is a bad thing. I'm not necessarily saying it is. There's definitely tweaks that they could do
for
to
players.
Make auto aim work. Right? No,
we shouldn't have it. We shouldn't have it other than in turrets.
So that it does
only in turrets.
Even less damage. They could make it so. Someone mentioned that they could make it so that it overheats quicker than a normal gun, which means your firing rate and everything else is a lot worse. Mm-hmm. You know, so you get to. Yeah, the
point of it was to help noobs. So all you do is making a mechanic harder for them.
No, that was. It is. I don't know.
But again,
what the point of it is.
That's the point that everybody talks about in chat. But yeah, again, CIG are so. They let us, I think, do most of the talking about it. Like they did talk, because I think they added. I think when auto aim was first introduced, I think they said one sentence or something. It was in an RTV, and they said, "Oh yeah, and by the way, we're introducing this auto aim thing," and then the whole community exploded, and CIG was like. It's like literally, I think they added one sentence in an ATV, and they showed us briefly with the thing, and everyone went crazy, but they never really explained. Yet again, it was like, we'll just throw this in there and just see what goes down, and we'll kind of then afterwards we'll say, oh, guess what, we're fixing everything.
It just randomly come in without any real reason for it. They just did it. Now, I said back then that maybe what it is for us testing the mechanics for the AI pilots. So when you can hire AI crew, that's probably how they're going to work. They're going to have some sort of auto aim circle. Well, yeah, maybe they're giving it to us to test it. I mean, we're still going to get it, I know, but I don't know.
I'm confident that Chris is scratching his head right now, together with a couple of others, and thinking about something. Yeah, we're definitely going to change this.
Chris is smoking crack in a tent somewhere because the guy sent his freaking. He's out somewhere out on the reservoir somewhere doing something, because his latest post on Spectrum was in a land unto as anyone else. Honestly, the guy is. I don't know what he was thinking when he posted that thing about overheating. That's the next conversation that's going to be about another hour and a half.
Great moment to get some beer.
Yeah. Whoa. Seriously.
So again, though, coming back to what we was talking about.
I don't mean it, Chris. I don't mean you do that stuff.
It's over everything. It's crazy. It's like people. What's weird is no one was moaning when I didn't feel like anyone was moaning when we didn't have auto aim. Like some people just wanted to get better, and some people maybe struggle with. I didn't really see too much moaning, but now it's like a massive
I think
divide,
that's
and
because
there's a shit ton of people that don't like it.
everybody was waiting for the return of PvP for this patch, and it didn't happen.
The return.
And
People were just all people wanted to be able to hit something, right? So they introduced the auto aim,
we
okay,
wanted
to try and
have
fix
the
it.
fun back of 263, and it didn't happen, and that's why we're a bit salty right now.
But,
Will it come in a
it's
future
like-
patch? Maybe.
But like I
hope.
said, I think it's too much. They've given too many little tweaks when we're supposed to be testing the flight mechanic.
Yeah.
It would have been nicer if they just give us the flight mechanic.
Yeah.
Let us
True.
test that. Like they could have
I
given us
agree.
the aim later on to test. They could have given us this overheating bullshit later on to test.
The
Like, I'm not
overheating
saying it
thing.
doesn't belong in
Wow.
the game, but really, the big patch was about the flight mechanic. It would have been nice for everybody to have actually got in and be able to fight and test it as it was, just how the flight mechanic behaved. And instead, we've got lots of other kind of tweaks that went with it, which is meaning that data and feedback of it's pretty skewed. It's like because people can't test what they really should be testing. And people are blaming the flight mechanic for the auto aim. So they're saying, oh, the flight mechanic shit. But it's not the flight mechanic shit, it's the auto aim that's shit. But then the auto aim's not necessarily shit, it's shit with the new flight mechanic at the moment. And it's still not being dialed in. So it's like, and then you've got the overheating, which means you can't just fly or do a quantum jump because your ship overheats. And then you get interdicted as well. Then you get to ArcCorp, but it crashes at ArcCorp. So then you've got to restart back at Port Olisar, which means when I'm flying with Madness, it took me half an hour to get there. It takes me another half an hour to get back. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's my game time up.
You can't be. But what could you? Could you? I don't think you even wanted to play. You
Rapping.
didn't even want to join me. You were like, I can't be bothered. I'm not going to come. I'm not going to come. I'm not going to come and
go
join
back.
you.
I was like, it's too late. I can't.
It's
I
just too much
literally knew
effort.
it was too late. It was too late for me to go and rejoin you after the server crashed.
Great game
It's like-
right there.
It's in the overall finished game. A lot of these things would work and it'd be fine. I just feel like they're giving us mechanics that are in the wrong order, and it shouldn't be in there until we're ready for it. That's what I feel like.
They've gone at it in a really interesting way. I mean, like I've said this before, it's like for me, I'm surprised. Like I've always kind of worked in terms of creating anything artistically, big brushstrokes. You know, kind of get big brushstrokes here, put this down, do this stuff, get this done. I've always kind of whenever I've ever had problems with a piece of art or drawing is when I've gone in really detail into a tiny little and I've gone, yeah, this is amazing, and I've drawn this, and then all of a sudden I go, oh shit, I'm off the page. Crap. I haven't looked at my picture properly. I haven't looked at the big scope of the picture and realized I've been drawing this tiny little thing off in the corner, and next thing I know is I've run out of space. You know, I know, oh crap, I need to hire 500 more people to try and finish this idea that I'm going off here. It's like there's this it feels to me sometimes it's like they just go into this tiniest, oh, we've got to do overheating and we've got to get the system to work, and it's going to be, oh crap, it's not right, and let's go in again because I'm smoking something in a tent fucking somewhere and I got this great new idea and I've got to make it even more complicated, and you know, and I got a great idea, let's pay everyone to go to everyone's going to pay for passes to go watch the show. It's a great idea. No, it's just stop it. Put more of the game in. We're going to be literally months and months without anything really new. Like ArtCorp, seriously, CIG, you've become the Institute of Screen Safe Gaming Play. It's like, oh, you wanted Loreville, you've given you amazing views. Guess what? Here's more of that again in 3.5 with nothing, no real reason to go there besides to take a couple cool screenshots and to meet okay, we've been really negative. I just want to throw in a really, really big positive. The female model system is fantastic, okay? The female models...
Done the shit sandwich. You're supposed to start
I know. I fucked this up. I'm sorry. We started too strong. Literally, the female model, you have done such a good job. I am so proud of you, CIG. Well done. You kept it sexy. Very, very happy. Very happy. Female models is great. The what's it called? The generation DNA thing, again, fantastic, really interesting. I can't wait to see that progress and develop. I think there's something really cool with that. As always, the Armored team's doing a great job. As always, the Environment team as well. You guys smash it out the park in terms of visuals. I mean, come on, like, flying into Arc Corp, besides the great big seam line down the middle, being able to see them mirroring the planet. Other than that, everything on there looks tremendous. Flying in looks really cool. I can't wait for them to flesh that out more. Again, you know, it looks great. It looks great.
Working missions. That's also what we want.
How many missions? I mean, you want more. I mean, the missions are all the same as far as I can tell. It's pick up something, drop something. It's just basically
I don't
the
want
same.
more missions. I want missions that work.
Bring back
Working
Tessa.
missions.
We want Tessa back.
Yeah.
A camcorder picture. Yeah, sure. A stress ball. Boop, 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 boop. No, it's you know, like that stuff is amazing.
Because you got the game to succeed.
I know.
I'm
so
passionate
desperate.
people that are passionate about a game. If we didn't give a shit, that would be worse. That would
trust me.
Be worse.
Yeah, like I want this game to succeed more than anything. This for me is such a amazing game. It's been a great part of my life for so many years. I met some amazing people who continue to back and support this game. I will do. My game style may change. I've said this before. Is I'm at the end of the day, I'm in that stage right now where I'm just in a hold. Like if this is poker, like I'm just holding my cards right now. I'm not betting anything. I'm just holding and waiting to see what happens over the next couple of months. But it's not going to stop me laying into my feelings about the state of what they're thinking about doing, and kind of like how my fears and concerns, and like just generally how I feel. Like, because you know what the hell is the whole point of the show? I just say what I feel, and you know you can love it or hate it.
Someone, I don't know if it was on Facebook or in chat or something like that, but mentioned that because we've moaned several times about the whole thing being slow to do everything. And so, like, some people's argument is that that's what this game is being sold as, and it allows those people that have those sort of professions, like loading the cargo, and all that crap, their time to do their job, the mining, everything else. Like the whole point of slowing it down or having these mechanics in and making things work is so that people's jobs have meaning. Now, that's fine if that wants to be your argument, but then on the same breath, doesn't that count for combat as well? Like, if you're not very good at combat, then you get people that are good at combat to escort you to do the combat. You don't go and just get auto aim. Like it's you know, that's why you hire mercenaries. That's why you hire people to do your combat for you. It's another way of making a profession work. And so if you're going to slow down, you know, transport so that you need to escort people, or you need to have special ships to transfer you from A to B. If small ships aren't going to do the full jumps because you need to have a bigger ship to transport them on, then I think that's what I mean. It seems like they seem to me almost like they're making the game in little chunks, and then they go to put the chunks together, and it's like, doesn't really work. It worked when it was on its own. It doesn't work when you put the two together. And I get that sort of feeling from it.
Don't worry, I'll go and make some lore and try and mash it together again with a bit of pseudoscience that kind of maybe makes some sort of sense, and slap it on top, and then it suddenly makes kind of sense. But then, by the way, I won't stick to any of it in probably about 6 months' time, change my mind completely, and do it all over again.
It depends.
That's literally what you're dealing with.
Like The Expanse. If he sees another film that's cool, it's going to be like, actually, no, I like this flight mechanic now.
No, seriously, no, legit. Like, that's the type of shit you deal with, and it's like the goalposts change, and they have changed. And if I'm not right on top of my head, I can't think of anything, but I know for a fact we're dealing with a person that literally swings. He's on a freaking roundabout, and we just or whatever part you're dealing with a scenario where it's just like, it's
well, he
let's deal with
on little details maybe, but if you look at the old video we showed a couple of weeks ago, he still has the same statement as back then in the early 90s. So,
in terms of the way he wants to be, like the way he wants to say the game,
the total game,
the death of the spaceman, the overall kind of arch, the idea of what Star Citizen is meant to be. Again, I think it was someone talked about like 90% of people don't want to play this game as a combat game. Did you not see the trailer for this fucking game back in 2012? It was pure combat. the spaceships were flying in everywhere, laser guns firing left, right, and center. Sorry, at that point did you think this was going to be a some sort of like cargo running kind of like? Sorry, I think we were seeing a completely different game here.
Video, like
that's quite funny.
Yeah.
Like, that was not a. Or look at our trading vessel. When you look at the advert for the Cutlass, and it's got all the things and it's spinning around and blowing the shit out of everything. It's not saying, "Oh, take your Cutlass for a cargo run." And even the fucking Freelancer advert, right, is the Freelancers carrying the cargo that gets scanned by pirates that then gets its turrets that go boom, boom and just blow the shit out of them. It's combat everywhere. But then they did show you the Auto Gimbals with that Freelancer shooting those, so maybe it was always the way. You just press the button, big guns, and take out the pirates.
I just watched Star Trek, and I think they should definitely do something with spores and fungus.
Star Trek
having a black alert and then
I just
ultra quantum jump millions and million light years away. That's the way
that is going to be my way to escape. I'll just press a button and I'll just quantum jump randomly 50 light years to one direction.
Oh, where were we? Oh, we were talking about
Argo. Is any ship in SC unarmed? I don't think it is it? Well, no, because even the Nox, the Nox has got a gun.
Hang on.
No, I think everything has got a gun.
What, does the Nox have a gun?
Okay, I've got it here. I got it.
I thought it has one at the front. I don't know. I know the Dragonfly does. I don't know. If
Never used it.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't got a Nox. So
can we just go? Let's go back. Let's go back to the overheating. Let's go back to this overheating. Let's go back to quantum drives. Let's go back to this Chris Roberts'
okay, before you
start,
go,
I'm gonna grab a beer.
Before you go on a massive rant about the overheating, right?
Not gonna go on a rant.
I 100% agree, but on the same breath, like this is our first iteration of it, and they probably are. It's not. I mean, if it stays like it, then we've got a valid reason. But don't like. I think people make a point. There's no point getting far too dramatic over something when it could easily be changed.
I promise to stay very, very cool. I mean, I've stayed cool all show so far, so I'll be totally cool. It'll be fine. So what I will say is so Chris obviously talks about it, and he starts off about waving his hands in the air, science and stuff. And he talks about the technology and the way that you kind of get the lore from the technology. I know I'm losing everybody. This is hilarious. But in terms of the way that the technology that he talks about, like, so he basically talks about the way that the quantum jump drives work. Harness your inner self. The way that the quantum thing is. So, like, I would imagine, like, for a lot of people who own Starfarers, when they first were buying Starfare, obviously it was, under the impression that they were told they was going to be able to farm quantum fuel, be it from gas giants or whatever else, and was going to be able to make that. And now it seems that has changed because it's now a rare mineral of some kinds. I'm guessing I don't think he means that you still won't be able to get it from the gas plants, or maybe you still, but you can't. It has to be refined, I believe, before you can carry it. So the Starfire can carry it, but it can't make it. I believe that's right. So you still be able to hold it, but you're just going to have to go and refuel it up. So it's like, oh, okay. And then I don't know if it's going to, again, there's still so many things that just don't, we're not even in and done. But in terms of the thing that I find interesting about the overheating thing was he talks about the overheating mechanic, like being a way to control distance and stuff. And I'm like, that's what fuel's for, dude. Seriously, like you don't need to like create like ships that break down every 5 seconds. And then he gets funny because people refer to comparing it to a car engine, a jet engine, or a rocket. I'm like, well, those things, those vehicles, they exist for a purpose that they're made for. A car is made to drive from A to B generally. You can have different types of engines. You can have a different type of car for different tasks, right? Because later on in his quote, he talks about the car breaking down and the coolants and stuff. Like, I think it was Bok actually, or Miz said this to me, is like that. If you I wouldn't take my BMW 3 Series in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Like generally wouldn't do it. Like I would take a 4x4 designed specifically for that task. If I was doing the Dakar Rally, I would take generally a vehicle to task that. I wouldn't take my BMW into space, for example. Oh, let's just slap the BMW engine on the side of it, and that's going to take me into space. You just wouldn't do it. You would build a spaceship. You build a rocket. You specifically for the task at hand. And I know for a fact that Elon Musk wouldn't build a spaceship that the minute that it's 3/4 off the pad, oh crap, it's overheating, boys. Oh no. It's not going to make it. We need to dial down the engines. No, he wouldn't do it. They'd figure shit out. And also, he's the other thing about airplanes. Airplanes operate on when systems fail, other systems kick in, okay, to replace them. There's many different systems. So for example, if some coolant stops working or whatever, there'll be a backup system and a backup system and a backup system, because your shit you don't want in the middle of flight. You don't want your vehicle to break down. It's not something that you want to happen. It's not a good thing. It should be like the very last thing that possibly happens. And those things should happen based on being attacked. And he quotes this, and this is where it comes in, like, he quotes this propulsion system. Let's see if I can get this propulsion on this. It's called an impulse. So this is just for quantum. So this is an impulse magnoplasma rocket. So he says, first of all, he talks about at the beginning, he says, we don't want to use, or a rocket is not useful. The thing he quotes is called a magnetoplasma rocket. So that's the first tell the guy's smoking something, because it's like, it literally, Chris says at the top, rocket. Then we go down and it says here, because this will be something that's going to come in very soon about the health of something. Compared to traditional rocket engines, this very complex plumbing, high performance valves, actuators and turbos, the Vasimir rocket, which is the one he's referring to, has almost no moving parts, apart from minor ones like gas valves, maximizing long-term durability. So guess what happens if we have anything? All these engines should never realistically break down unless they're shot at. So yippee if we suddenly find our supposedly what's coming in the next couple patches? Misfiring. What the fuck are you doing bringing that in? If the thing you shouldn't misfire, if these systems are meant to be incredibly durable and the engines shouldn't misfire. So my engine should not misfire based on his system of quantum things. So then he does say, and he says here, and this is what he was kind of getting to, which is about waste heat, because it operates and generates substantial waste heat, which is what he was talking about, why we need the systems and the coolants and the bigger vehicles and all the rest of it should do this system for overheating and stuff. And I would just say, again, if you're building something, you're building it with the purpose of being good at its job. You know what I mean? It shouldn't break down every 5 seconds. So for me, again, I was just like, his analogies and the things that he uses in this post just literally are just way all over the place. Makes no sense to me. It's just more, it just makes me question so many things. Just like, this is the guy spearheading the project.
What did I miss? Could you repeat that, Madness?
Just like, seriously, and like I get you're allowed to be wrong and all the rest of it, but it's just like, dude, just like, this is a shining example where there's no sense check on anything. It can't be sense checked by anyone. It's like, it's just so bad. And I worry, and I was saying this earlier, it's like, I've just seen something about BioWare and the way BioWare was mismanaged and mishandled and spinning wheels and 7 years of development, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden they crashed it into 6 months or whatever else. There are just so many things, like, Frostbite engine that wasn't very good. Oh, guess what? We have CryEngine, which is, everyone grumbles about CryEngine. And there are little things going on, and I'm just going, is there some similarities here? Is there some sort of thing here that I need to be aware of and worried about and stuff? Because, like, what's going on? Like, I just don't know if the right hand knows what the left hand's doing. Oh, by the way, as well, BioWare had 4 studios as well, or now 3, I think, or whatever they had. Similar thing to us is in multiple studios, creating tons of miscommunication and complexity, and we get, oh, God, it's just kill me now. Shoot me now. I need a drink.
Well,
carry on.
I mean, I don't really know what he said because I had to go and find out about my dad. But
We fled.
It's my opinion on it in terms of the overheating, and I've said it before. Like, whether this is them testing or not is irrelevant. In my opinion, I think that if you're I think the whole point of the overheating system should be for those that want to get involved in making their ship that much better. So if you choose to tweak your engine so that you can go that little bit faster than stock, or if you choose to tweak your gun so that you can hit a little bit harder, then your stuff should overheat. And it's about balance between making something more powerful than stock and overheating. I think if you're buying it and you're just using it out of the gate as it's supposed to be, it shouldn't overheat. There's just no reason for it. And
Totally
I
agree.
don't see the point of it. I was saying to Matt this earlier today. Like I love motorbikes and my car's fine, whatever. Now most people that own a motorbike, they seem to be like petrol heads. They love tinkering with it, taking it apart, cleaning it, tweaking it, and everything else. For me, no. I just love riding motorbikes. I can't stand the fucking maintenance of it. I can't stand getting there and changing all the oil and fucking about with it. I just want to get on my bike and ride it, which is why I hire mechanics and people in the garage to come and do all the maintenance for me. And it works. My bike works. But other people might want to sit there and they'll put a fucking bigger exhaust on it and they'll tweak and get different quality spark plugs, whatever. And for them, that's fine. If that's what they want to do, then do that. And then risk the overheating. But if you're just going to get on it to just fly it, it should not be overheating. Things should just work. And that's my opinion, obviously.
But that's exactly it. Again, this goes back to my point about auto in combat. Like, you're making an incredibly complicated, frustratingly difficult, high learning MFD, memorize every component part, whatever you want to, way of traveling around. Where's my auto aim for that? What? No, seriously. Where's my easy button? Where's my AI that does it? Where's my R2D2 that sits there and manages all of that for me? Because at the end of the day, this is meant to be the future. My computer figures out so much. Like, when I switch on my computer, do I have to every fucking 5 seconds figure out? Oh crap, it's overheating. Hang on a second, guys. I just need to dial down my coolant systems in the inside of this so that I can keep the show running. Because it's like.
For now, the
UI computer figures it out.
I chuck a bucket of water on my PC because I can't stream at the moment. Hang on.
I guess later on we will get notifications via the HUD. There are key bindings in game for MFDs, for the MFDs that are still not working, for better accessibility, for quicker accessibility. Also, the naming. They should get rid of the naming of the components. They should just name the function of the component, not the brand or the type. It's just wordless. If that's in, and you can do micromanagement, I'm all for micromanagement, but that's just me. I don't know what the majority of the other people wants, but that's the whole thing of this game. He needs to keep everybody happy, and he can't.
You can't keep everyone happy.
You can though, because if he made it so that you could micromanage, and you would get more from your ship would be better than mine. But mine's not over because I didn't micromanage. That's suiting everybody, isn't it? It means I can play and not tweak my ship, and it will still fly from A to B. You can tweak your ship, but you've got a little bit of payoff. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
There's always going to be some asshole out there that doesn't like it. That's the problem. There's always someone out there that's like, it's just for the hell of it. It's like, I agree with you, Miz, 100 and like 100. I just don't get it. I'm like, literally, my ship straight out of the packaging should work all the time unless it's shot at and things start breaking.
And I'm not saying that it shouldn't wear. So if I've been using the ship for a while, then I think it's perfectly fine to say that my components are wearing. And therefore
misfires come up.
Other than my engines, because we all know it uses the variable specific impulse magnetism engines, which have less movable parts. Just by the way, you feel free to quote Chris on this when your ship breaks, and you can tell him it, and you can say, Chris, I'm using the VSM operates, generates, and it's using much more minor parts, moving parts, so it's maximizing long-term durability. Just make sure you throw that in there, so the next time your engines are misfiring or not working, we just throw that back at him and say, just quoting you again on your impulse magnetic rockets, by the way, just so you know, it says rockets at the top of the thing, just as an example. Just throw that back at him. Fucking idiot.
You're gonna love it.
So sorry, it just like just some like no matter how he's so much cleverer than me, but sometimes even clever people can be idiots. Do you know what I mean? That's the reality, the way I look at it. Not everyone can, easily miss the beginning title of something. Unbelievable.
I think it's just like I said, because things are taken as abstract. So like you said, someone said, "Oh, he sees the Expanse. Oh, that's cool. Can we make our ships like that?" Then then he sees like a system on another game where it overheats and thinks, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's make it so it overheats." That, in theory, it sounds like it's a cool idea because it means that we've got to make sure we don't. Like, obviously, if you keep shooting your weapon over again, like the laser weapons, they've got to overheat, otherwise they'd be overpowered. So you get the overheating on that, but like, it's like, oh, it looks cool, but then it's the practice and how you put it together. And it's like you can't just keep looking at things and saying that's cool, let's make that do it, because it doesn't. It might be cool on the instance that you're looking at, but it doesn't necessarily means it's cool in the scenario how you've built your game. It doesn't always work.
It works if you're it like overheating, having components and things require you to do stuff works really well when you have a very good multiplayer experience on our ships, which we all were hoping for, and we all hope will eventually, at some point, eventually in the next 20 years, we'll suddenly be able to actually do things on the multi-crew ships. The MFDs will be able to actually do the things they're talking about. Oh crap, my thing's overheating. Can the guy sat next to me, can he start like adjusting everything? Oh no, he can't do shit because it doesn't work. But eventually that will work, supposedly, at some point. When it does work, that's when the fun will be for people, because then in theory they'll be able to fix things and get things running and be able to get things working. Here's the thing that makes no sense. They are making that gameplay mechanic for the larger ships, and the larger ships make the distances, the time jumps, the shortest. And the ships that you're making the mechanics break down all the time are on the small ships that take the distances the longest. And this is where it comes back to the fuel should be the thing that determines the distance, not the components breaking. So in the reality, we really shouldn't be able to make the jumps to the distance, to the locations, without having to go via truck stops and things like that. But the problem is, if we were to make the jump, because it's such a random and broken system, if I was to make the jump to a truck stop, the chances of me being A, fucking interdicted by that stupid mechanic, and 2, the thing's breaking on the way is a joke. It's a joke. So I don't know how many.
We've got a tugboat ship now. We've got a tug, so that's why it was put into the game, because of all the ships breaking down. There is now a tugboat to pull you back to a truck stop. So it's basically the RAC. They've done it. That's why they've made it break down, so that this ship now has a purpose. It can tug you to the nearest truck stop, except for when that one breaks down.
And the craziest thing is, you go onto Spectrum, and there are people who like this, and I just look and I just go, I want to run away from these people as much as I can, because I'm just literally like, please go away. I will pay. It's like in America, they give money to bums to go to like California or whatever to just get out of the state. I almost want to do the same thing with StarEngine and be like, look, can I just like here's $50 and fuck off out this game, because I don't want you in this game. They could do the same for me. It's fine. I'll take the $50. But generally, I'm just like just. You want this? You think this is good? Are you serious? Like, can you not, like, literally, the ears are like this. They just don't even want to hear, like, as I, no, can you not actually see that is really fucking dumb? Like, really dumb. Anyway. So I think I'm out. I think that's it. Like, heating, the flight model, the thrusters.
That's it. That's just those few issues. Just those few
gave up.
Issues.
No patience, that guy.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the main, like those. I think those are the things for me. Like I've said before, when the fun for me at the end of the result is nowhere near the effort that's required to be put in. And that's the thing. Then for me, there's a balancing that's really out of whack right now. And if for me, the fun I was having was a lot of years of practicing the flight models, years of training and understanding how things work and getting to grips with weapons and flight and all the rest of it, all that stuff. When all that stuff is kind of thrown out the window and not important because somebody else who's had none of that can just pick up an auto aim and just hit me and kill me in seconds. When all of that is complete, all that is out the window and this is more important, that for me has taken away the passion I had for that aspect of the game instantaneously. I have no interest in competing against that. That is not in the same realm.
3.6 Star Marine's going to get auto aim as well.
So
Just
Star
because
Marine,
some people aren't very good at shooting at FPS.
I'm playing that.
So
That
they
looks
need
good.
Auto aim on their guns to hit.
That looks good.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, I'm looking
Level that
forward
playing
to.
field.
I'm going to play that, but I heard that Star Marine is good again or something, or it's been improved greatly or stuff. I think WTFO was talking about it, and he was saying he's much, much better, and he's excited about it going live. So I could be going back to that. Oh, he's got the
finally
auto.
win now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Talking about salty bastards.
We're talking about salty bastards, but I mean, okay, so that's the kind of the bad things in terms of 3.6. The good things, like I said, are just the DNA system looks pretty sweet. I really enjoyed that. It looks great. The female model's great. Visuals are great as always. The mission giver, I think she's smoking hot. I would seriously I would just see smoking.
Does she still do the stare?
She's got her legs open, ready and waiting. That's all I can say. I'm just like, damn girl. No, she is so hot. Like, I was just like, yeah, I just wanted her to come off the thing and come and join me on my spaceship.
She's a bunch of pixels.
That would require animation. Let's not go too far.
Yeah.
At the moment, she just sits back in the chair and talks to you without even moving her head. It's like,
yeah, no, it's
I see you from around here. Well, I've got a job for you.
It is a little bit corny. It is a little bit corny. But again, but then, okay, but the like, what has the AI team done like in the last 8 months for the PU?
Squadron 42. That's what they've been.
Yeah, and the
that must be what
avoidance
they're
of
doing.
hitting each other.
That must be what they're doing. Because every time it says AI improvements, AI this, it talks about it, but it never seems to be like it's getting better. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but for anyone who's a coder or whatever else, is that actually happening? Can you see because I might, maybe, no, at the end of the day, maybe visually I'm not seeing it because I can't see at that level that maybe other coders can, and they can go, no, they're putting in the pieces, you know what I mean? Laying down the path to see, and they're saying, okay, look, yeah, this isn't working great, but I can see the coding that they're putting, and this will eventually, it will suddenly become clear. A bit like one of those giant paintings that, this little bit of painting, we can't see that, and then suddenly it'll be like, oh my God, that's amazing. How clever are these guys? Maybe that's what's going to happen. I don't know.
I think the majority is indeed on Squadron 42, and I can't blame them. That shit needs to be done. To be fair, yeah, that has to sell, and keep Star Citizen running for the development of the rest of the years. So there has to be a shift.
AI, yeah, and I think the AI subsumption and things is different in Squadron 42 to PU because of the whole netcode and all the different interactions that could possibly happen on the PU compared to Squadron 42. I think.
Sorry, what am I bypassing
with you on that? Because I don't think PvP is forced upon you. There's supposed to be safe zones. There's supposed to be security. That's what everyone told me when I said about the being backstabbed. They said no, it's all right. They wouldn't be able to do it because there's security and crime and everything else. Like, don't forget, this is going to be a big universe. Like, even though there's people that will want to PvP, doesn't mean everybody's going to be forced into PvP. There'll be, there's plenty of safe space for people to fly through and do their mining or whatever without PvPing.
I think, and people are misunderstanding, like, in terms of, like, when I say PvP, I not necessarily mean, like, the ability to just, like, blow you out of the sky after 2 shots. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. If anyone watches my stream and watches me in combat, I like good fighting. I want great fighting that's going to last a long time. I want ships to be disabled. I want time to disable to be in the game. I actually want to be able to make a conscious choice when I go, now I'm going to blow you up because I can't be bothered, or I'm disabling you now so that I then move to another target, maybe disable them, and then maybe I could have 3 ships all disabled. But I want the gameplay mechanics so that you on the ship are scrambling like crazy to fix your ship, to get going, maybe to jump away or to, get your systems active again to get back in the fight. I want that gameplay. I don't just want to blow shit up all the time. But granted, I'm happy to have the choice to blow you up, but I want longer, more complicated dogfighting scenarios and fight. I want time to kill. I'm more than happy with the longer time to kills on things. I think it's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, I have no problem with certain ships I can't kill. For example, if I can't kill a hammerhead or certain ships, I know that because I'm a single pilot or whatever. I can't deal with that. I have to have my friends to come and deal with me. That's cool gameplay. That's fun. That's great. I don't want to just, I love that. And when you bring auto aiming and all these other things into that, it just, I don't know, it just lessens the skill. Like I can't aim. Like I love the fact that I'm aiming at that component and choosing that. And I hate the fact that I'm learning that skill and this person next to me doesn't have to, And like, again, make that, when I was told this was a skill-based game and that was what it was about. And I just feel like I've been lied to, And it kind of feels dirty.
As long as it's not finished, we're not sure. So
wait. But it's in now, and I just don't see it going away. And it's here, and it's going to be here to stay. And
push of a button, and it's away.
I hope. For me,
they
could
potentially completely go back on it and say, look, it doesn't work for pilots, but it works for AI. Could potentially be something they do. You don't know.
I think all these
what
comments...
makes me laugh is that people moan about it. Like there's a quote that Madness copied from Spectrum, and someone's saying, everybody's happy with it. It's just the loud minority that are the problem because they all moan about it, but everybody else is happy. And then like Paul did a great answer saying it's nothing to do. It's about discussing and debate. And then the bloke responded and said, "Yeah, but it's still in. They want our feedback and everything else." It's like, yeah, exactly. That's why we're voicing our opinions. That's why we're telling you that we think it's crap. It's not just like I know everybody comes here and they say, "Oh, you're just throwing salt on that." It's partly that, but it's not that. It's that we love the game and we really want the game to succeed.
Yeah.
And why is their opinion because they're happy with it less than our opinion because we want the combat? Everybody's opinion has a valid state, and it's through listening to people that do combat and having their feedback is to know whether combat works or not. There's no point listening to people that don't do combat that only want to do it once now and again just to defend themselves, when there's people that actually want that as their gameplay mechanic. The same way you expect people that want to be the miners to discuss mining and tell them what's good or bad about mining. You don't want to listen to a combat person's opinion about mining. That's not going to give you the feedback that you want. It's without these discussions, without people getting passionate and saying it doesn't work, doesn't mean they have to listen, and it doesn't necessarily mean that myself or Madness is right. Like you said, we could get to the end of the game and it's like, well, Chris goes, no, this is how I want the game to play. If you don't like it, this is not the game for you. And it could well do that. That's something that we would have to accept. So, well, that's not the game we wanted. That's not the game we're back. But this is the game that it is. That is completely valid.
I think they really take it by heart and listen to the community. Not that they will change everything, but they really take it into account that it can fail if they continue like this. So they definitely will put some changes in. But in the end, it's if Chris decides otherwise, then we're out of luck. But I don't think so. I think that we will see changes, and this will be changed a bit.
Right, Raylan, that's what I was saying before. Like someone says he's coming. Raylan's coming, and he said it again. The flight model is great for large ships, in my opinion. What is so great about it versus the previous one? What's made this new flight model versus the flight models we've had from 2.5 to now suddenly make this amazing experience for large ships? Because I don't get it. Like, seriously, like everyone talks about it and I'm like, just drift, guys. Like, it's just slower to stop. It's like literally all it is. It's just the ships feel more, people go, oh, they feel more weighty because they're slower to stop. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm literally like, that's not a hard thing to implement. They could have implemented that before. Like, well, seriously.
I like the drifting to
Like,
a degree.
what do they
I think
feel?
it needs tweaking though. I think it drifts too much. That's the problem. I think even
Feels
the game,
more-
a ship that you think would be nimble, isn't nimble. It drifts like a bitch still. It's like, but then again, this is the start of feedback, so they can change that stuff, right?
Yeah. It's easier to fly low planet side. The 600 now is a lot nicer, and I like the drifting, but it needs some tweaking. Okay. I would agree about the atmosphere. Like, I would say the flight model has definitely improved the experience. I think that people have an atmosphere, and I also agree the flight model is clearly, whatever they've done to the hover bikes and stuff.
Oh,
Good job there. From
lovely.
what I understand, again, that's listening to the community. Like, didn't like literally the entire community. Like, when the minute they came and go, what the fuck is this? Why don't you just make it simple on yourself, CIG? No, it's okay. We'll spend a whole year trying to fix it. No, you can. Then we'll just go back and do what you said in the first place. Fine. Like, I just curious. Like, when people say like, "Oh, it feels better," I'm like, what actually is it that you're feeling from the flight model that makes this
All I'm
supposedly
feeling
better
is
for
my
large
reliant
ships?
crashes even more than it did before. So,
Yeah.
in fact, all my ships are crashing a lot more than they did before. But then, learn the
Small
mechanic and getting
ships.
good. There is an element of that, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. Thanks, Ryan. No, I was just, like I said, I was just curious, like I said, because I just hear a lot of people talk about it, but then I'm like, tell me exactly, like, because what the feeling is that we're referring to that makes it so much better than before. Because, like, I've said this before, like, when I've heard people talk about a lot of things over the flight models, and I've flown many of the different ships, and I've kind of gone, like, when people were talking about, oh, there's no variety with them, and I go, yes, there is, and I will show you. And then I teach, and they go, oh, I didn't realize that the Hornet flies more on the Y and turns faster on the Y. If I turn it this way and spin, it turns just as fast as a Sabre. Whereas if I do the side strafing in a Sabre and do that circling, oh, I didn't realize. Oh, crap. Oh, we're constantly stuck in strafe circles. Oh, if you turn the Hornet or the other ships that work on the Y and power forward, you can break the strafe circle. Oh, but no, I didn't want to learn that. Oh, you can break the strafe circles. You don't have to be stuck in the fucking strafe circle. You can break it and go a different direction and go forward and backwards. Go do a J turn or go upwards and down. You got control. Like, this is the shit that you deal with. Like, people talk and grumble about endless strafe circles. Like, you're doing what the other person's flying like.
One of the problems with the feedback and the moaning is without having and that's why I said adding these other influences isn't a good idea if you want to just test the flight mechanic, because like I've seen people on Facebook and on Twitter moaning about the flight mechanic, and then someone says you do realize that you can press C and go in cruise control, and they're like, oh right, I didn't know that. It's like, there's not, and again, this is partly CIG's fault because they bring out a tutorial on how to fly right before the patch. Except for, guess what? The tutorial's the wrong fucking tutorial. Now, wouldn't it be nice to have told everybody how to fly with the new flight mechanics so that everyone could actually have tested it and gone, oh, that's how this is supposed to work. Right, now we get it. And then maybe we'd get a little bit better feedback as well. The other problem we also have is the fact that, like, so the way they're flying now is a bit like how they used to fly when I played Jump Gate, that sort of thing, the whole drift, and you had to counteract your thrusters going one way. And I never thought anything different of it because that was how that game worked. And I think the problem with this is now we've had different flight mechanics that you've learned and you've had time to learn and love. And so to change it doesn't necessarily mean the new flight mechanic's bad, but you've spent so much time learning a completely different thing and falling in love with it, that changing it is like, oh shit. So those people that don't play that often are definitely seem to be the ones that are more in love with the new flight mechanic because they haven't necessarily learnt the old one so much. It goes, oh yeah, it don't take too long to learn this new one. Whereas those that have been playing constantly are like, shit, this is crap. It's all over the place. And I mean, I was a big complainer about the fact that the ships all moved far too much the first time. The thrusters, like the strafing all around like a crazy bitch, was far too much.
Agreed.
But I think they've gone completely the opposite way now, where it doesn't do anything, and it's all straightforward. And it's needed to be an in between. I think they needed to just been toned down a bit, and then, like you said, so the special ships where they've got the better thrusters can do more maneuverability than the ones that haven't got it. but
That's
it's just a bit of a mess, in my opinion.
That's one of my biggest, like, I see people talk about realism. That's the thing is people talk about realism. They're like, oh, I see this spouting about realism. I'm like, okay, this game, firstly, seriously, they need to get to grips with the fact that this isn't a realistic simulation game. And secondly, I always say to them, creating planes in space doesn't make referring to the Expanse. The Expanse has no aliens in it until the show that we're watching, where we're creating this new alien life form creature. And by the way, this alien life form creature can take an entire planet and move it in any fucking direction it wants to, and then head towards Earth. So it's like, the point, aliens do weird and crazy things, like the Santa Koi. I don't think even the Carthrol's running properly. I think someone tested it out the other day, and it doesn't actually have the flight model mechanics put into it. So it's like I'm not able to really truly test the flight model because they haven't made the Carthrol's engines run, I believe, the way. Again, I need to get confirmation from this, but as from what I understand and what I've seen, it's not flying. The Carthrol should be doing strafe circles around everybody. Like, it should just be all over. It should be up, down. It should be doing everything the 3.4 flight model was doing. The Carthrol should be doing. You should be maybe blacking out. Yeah, okay. But it should be doing insane turns with those engines that can swivel and turn and whatever. You know, that's it should be based on what the way that they're building this flight model. And so all that, honestly, all that happens. And this is what I'm saying, is like, you change the flight model that was fun and interesting with nose-to-nose combat fighting and interesting for the dogfighter people, and strafing is the dominant movement, is the dominant force, or was the dominant force, should I say, within space, because it's all about 6 degrees of movement. You've then taken that away, built this gimbal system, and then you have these alien spaceships that are sitting here without that flight model properly put in, so I can truly see if I need to buy a Santa Koi or not. You know, because the minute that I can see, if they put that into the Carthrol, and I can see that ship's maneuvering is insanely cool, you wait and see what happens. I may not give a shit about Auto Gimbals, because that motherfucker can't track me because I am all over the place in my Carthrol. You know what I mean? And then I'd be like, oh, happy days. I'm back to what I had before. I can move around and do all the great movement that I really enjoyed. I'm not talking about the jerk stuff from 3.4. I'm talking about the wonderful sweeping movements of 2.6.3. The ability to go down and up and around, like movement that was smooth, you know, like really smooth. And you could roll and turn. You didn't have to do huge this. It was, you do subtle movements and you could watch the, you know, things go. It was great. And that's what I've wanted to get back to. And this new flight model is, I could see the almost, but then they went, oh, but now we're going to reduce the thrusters so you can't do shit, and just jousting. And it's like, oh, you guys are so close. So close. It's so close. So maybe I've put it down as 3.6.3 will be the birth child of 2.6.3 was. That's what I'm kind of hoping. 3.6.3 will be 2.6.3 reborn, and Madness will be will be so happy, and then I'll get it for a whole year until 4.0 comes out and completely breaks it again, and we'll be back to where we were again. You know, the Carthrol should be just shredding everyone.
You will keep this feeling until the final game releases, Madness. You have to cope with it. That's all you can do.
The funny thing is, we've got like a slightly different subject, but we got the new roadmap with the 2020 stuff on the front of it. And there's a couple of things that's made me laugh about this. There's one that people are seeing things on there and they're like, oh my God, it's amazing. They've put this. It's like, yeah, you do realize they're developing the game. It's going to be on the roadmap at some point. It's not amazing that they're putting the Gas Crusader on there. It was going to get developed.
And it probably gets pushed to 4.0 and
that as well.
Just totally useless to think about it right now.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And the second thing that really made me laugh is the Facebook was just full in a couple of Star Citizen groups that got us going, next year is going to be amazing for Star Citizen. Next year is going to, it's like, oh my God, if I haven't heard that every year since 2014.
I said it last year. 2019 is going to be it. I suckered in. I fell into the trap. I completely fanboyed in. My heart was open, CIG, and crushed my nuts, man, and stamped all over my heart and gave me this. No, it didn't really. I'm not that bad, but it's. I'm already looking at exactly that, because I'm going. I'm looking at it going, Squadron 42 has to come out so that they can focus back on the persistent universe. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's like Squadron 42 has to get out of the way now. It's like it's becoming an irritation because it's in the way of it. You know, it's like, let's just get this done and get this out of the way with, and let's enjoy what Squadron 42 is. Let's all get passionate about it. I worry that Squadron 42 will bring a load of people to the game, and then, like I said before, is like they won't have anywhere to go after, and then they'll just they'll pitcher away, because if they don't, I don't know. I don't know. And if I don't know, it's too early. Wait until the end of the year, madness. Wait till the end of the year.
I think Slyman Ninja's just right. Actually, it used to be soon TM. It's no longer. Now it's next year TM.
Next year.
That's going to be the new thing. Next year TM Star Citizen is going to be amazing.
That's redemption
we're talking
for PC as well.
Yes.
Ship-to-ship station docking. I mean, just just don't.
Ship-to-ship docking, yeah, because next year that Merlin's going to come out the Constellation's arse next year.
Episode 2, exactly.
Or maybe.
The thing is like, though, then if Squadron 42 isn't a success, if Squadron 42 is a steaming pile of like, what the fuck happened? I'm seriously, Squadron 42 could be another Anthem. We have no idea behind the scenes. I don't think it will be, based on what I've seen and what we've seen in terms of like the stuff. I don't think it is the case.
I haven't seen shit yet.
But it could be another
nice pictures. Doesn't say anything.
It could be just and then everyone is just going to be up and going. Ooh. I mean, I haven't been to the studio, so I guess I haven't seen anything. So maybe if I go to the studios, maybe I'll change my tune. But it could be just a spinning pile of nothing really, and indecision and confusion, and it's perfectly possible. Actually, just going to go on to I think this was a Facebook post which just Miz pointed out, and it says here, okay, I finally tried the new flight model with the new gimbal system, and it's fucking amazing. Took forever to set up my controls though. I highly suggest, if you're using a HOTAS, to set the throttle to the speed limiter, then another slider to the throttle forward to use the fine speed control. Mostly use the limiter to control speed. Also, if you consider yourself a terrible pilot, equip entirely gimbals on the new system. It's 900% easier without being stupid.
Yeah. That pretty much says it all. 900% better. Look at the response.
Just looking in chat.
900%. Fuck me, as little as 900%.
Yeah. Dark, you made a great comment. I'm going to come back to one of your comments, I think, another time. I think we'll have a chat. We're going to get you on the show at some point as well, if you want to come on.
Yeah, we need Dark Law.
He's like, fuck off, am I coming on with you bunch of salty?
Yeah, salty bastards. I love I know he's a big fan. And I love that. And I that's why I want like people who are fans. We've got to try and get some more people on and like talk about it. I need to get into it more. Again, I haven't played it enough. You know, maybe like once I understand a bit more of the mechanics, I'll grow to like it a little bit more. Unfortunately, I've got severe tennis elbow at the moment, which is kind of limiting my game time. So
I didn't know you played tennis.
Nor does he.
This came from 3.4. This was a 3.4 injury, man. Like that's what I'm saying. That Make 'em Rage is another one. He's telling me he's like his shoulder and I'm like the 3.4 game flight model was just brutal. Like it was way too jerky. That's what I'm saying. That it was far too jerky and it did need to change. So like I said, I think my biggest problem at the moment is just all the aiming. It's always been really. They just need to get that system. Honestly, I would just say get rid of the auto gimbal, auto aim shit for now. Just get the ESP like just get that working really well. They've slapped in a whole nother system on top of it that just I think is just causing another level of complication that they just didn't need. I honestly think that, and then it comes back to my other thing. I just don't think they know how to fix it. I think there's a problem there, a big one, because it's been a year.
I think they eventually will, but it will take a long time.
seems to be. I don't know. Like maybe it could be again. It could be the engine. It could be the CryEngine. It could be the CryEngine. Just it isn't.
It's numbers and mathematics and that sort of stuff. But they will eventually.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully somebody can ask. Who's going to BritizenCon here? Because I can't go, unfortunately, guys. Sorry. I'm not going. I'm going to CitizenCon this year. I'm not going to BritizenCon. I just got confirmation that I can't do it tonight. So, who is going? Maybe Miz. You can ask David when you see him for me. I'll give you a list of questions for him. I'll give you a video. I'm going to record myself.
Harry.
David, please, please, David, please. Oh. So, do you want to throw? Do you have any questions? Do we have the question thing open, Miz? I didn't even go in and open it.
Yeah, there's a few questions there.
Okay.
I've also got a video that you're supposed to show at the end of the show.
Is he always that salty?
Which video? Which video?
One.
Question one. No, I'm generally just. There's just some dumb thing. It's just when I see bullshit, I have to say it. It's bullshit. Some of it. Like some of it's great. Like I said, like some of it's good.
So I think all the questions are from a certain person that's trolling, but we.
Would you have questions?
I wonder who it could possibly be. The first one is from Chris Roberts to Madness. So, what do you think of my black model? Can't believe you mentioned it. Thanks, Jack. Thanks.
What do I think of? What do I think of it?
I ran out of crack. Any idea where I can get some more? Yeah, thanks, Jack. Son, medical professional. Madness, are you okay? You seem stressed.
This is normal.
Did you see my banana at Wilmslow, or had you gone by then? No, I don't believe I saw your banana. I don't even know. And finally, from Naughty Nurse, would you like my banana, Madness? And that's literally all the questions we've got.
I haven't seen the banana yet. So someone will have to send me a banana picture later. Feel free to send me a banana picture later. I will judge the banana.
Do you like flight sims, Madness? Not space sims, but
flight sims. No, I can't stand them. Because if I wanted to play flight sim, I would become a pilot. That's the kind of the way I am. Like if I want to do something, I go and do it. Like this, I cannot be there is no aeroplane spaceship combat in the world. If that was a thing, I would have gone and tried to make that happen. You know, like I've always operated like that. It's like football. I don't go and generally watch football. I go and play it. I go and do it. You know, it's the same with this game, Space Sim. I can't do it, so therefore I play it. You know, it's the kind of the way I work.
Yeah. No, but I was just wondering, now that you are not enjoying, Star Citizen due to the flight model, is IL-2 Stormfix something for you?
Oh, you got something to try? Like what? Like a game? Is that like a game? Would you suggest that would be a fun game to play as an alternative?
Well, no, it's a fun game, but it's a really ultra realistic flight sim with World War II planes.
Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Do I need to spend 20 minutes bleeding the engine before I take off?
Well, no, but you can adjust everything.
But as long as I don't need to spend 20 minutes bleeding the engine.
No. Does it overheat when it takes off?
It does overheat. I don't know how you call it in English, but you can change what we call the spoed, or maybe it's called speed in English, of the props. If you do that too high or too low, it will overheat, and you make too much revs, and your engine blows up. But even turning with, for example, a Messerschmitt or whatever, it's quite tough. You just don't pull that handle towards you, because you will just plunge to the ground, and it's actually quite competitive.
What, in terms of is it competitive? Yeah, I mean,
I will send you the link. Have a look at it.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it. I mean, I'm not, like I said before, I'm not. You know, does it come with auto aim though? That's what I want to know.
No, certainly not.
Fuck it, then I ain't playing it.
I can't play it then. I need 900% of auto aim to make it happen. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. I honestly, like, yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, I've had a little dabble on those type of games before. It's like I've seen some of those flight things. They kind of pique my interest, but then I don't realistically have the time and to spend really learning it. Like I just don't. It's a lot of this stuff generally takes quite a lot of time to learn, and I've already wasted 3 years investing in a computer game that keeps constantly changing its mind. So I don't want to do any more. I'm hoping this one will figure it out. If I grumble enough, they'll figure it out. No, it's who knows, dude. Like I there's a couple other space games coming out which I'm interested in. If the flight model continues, Beyond Good and Evil 2 in terms of just for fun. That looks really fun. I know Bethesda has a game coming out, space game coming out at some point. I can't remember what that's called. I think there was the guys who did TIE Fighter. They were trying to crowdfund a purely combat game, which again goes to, I think Gunther was talking about in terms of you can't fund it. You're kind of right. I think they're a purely combat game struggles generally to get funding. So the more RPG kind of role playing elements of the game is what appeals to a more greater number of people. Yeah. So that's why I think they've struggled, because I think they've just focused purely on the PvP. And also I think Star Citizen, as the behemoth within this community of Kickstarters, has sucked up all the money and dried it, and everyone's now like, I don't really want to fund anything else because I want this one to finish first. But that is one. I think it's called Last Starfighter. Is that the one I said, or something like that? Or I can't remember. That one looks. And then there's another. There's Dual Universe as well, which looks interesting. But I think that's a subscription model, so that always turns me off. I think.
Is that subscription?
I think so.
No, the fun thing is, I have
No Man's Sky's
alpha access to that game, but all these tests that they're running are during weekdays, like working days. I'm like, what the fuck? I have tested it once. Never
it's
since.
not fully open.
Well, it's fully open, but only on a certain day. Not every day. No.
Yeah.
So there's that one, and I imagine there'll be more. Like, if Squadron 42 is successful, I thoroughly expect EA to wheel out probably. If BioWare continues to make flop games, who's to say BioWare doesn't suddenly make the next Wing Commander game? It's perfectly possible. I wouldn't surprise me. They've got the franchise, so you could easily take a lot of the people from BioWare and say, okay, you guys are now working on the Wing Commander franchise to compete against Squadron 42 and to compete against Star Citizen. I want you to crush them with auto aim, make it easy with controllers and Xbox.
Surprise announcement at CitizenCon. We're now going over to console.
Hey, if they take any longer, this is perfectly on the table. Honestly, they take any longer, by the time they get this game even remotely done, like you'll be looking at the graphics going, oh my god, these are so old. My PlayStation, my little kid will be like, God, Dad, this is terrible. You talk about this is graphics? What the hell? My PlayStation 6 runs this game better. Well, has better graphics than this. Red Dead Redemption 5 is so much better than this game.
Star Citizen Mobile's where it's at. Yeah, that's true. Forget console, straight to mobile. Haven't you seen ESO Blades? That's on mobile now. So yeah. Star Citizen.
That on my phone was too small.
I haven't got it. It's not on my Play Store. Bastards.
Well, you got an old Android version then.
I don't know. Not that I know of. Unless it needs updating. But...
So let's talk about another really positive entity. Let's talk about another positive thing.
Let's talk about positive things.
ATV no longer happening. We've got no more ATVs. We've got no more. Like they've decided that subscription money of $270K a month, whatever it is, can't really afford to run shows because the guys are super busy and unable to do a less than 20 minute show. less than 20 minutes. It's not even. It's like
Yeah, but that's not
18
all
minutes.
in one take, madness.
18.
You have to deal with nerds. Nerds are not particularly good on cams, and
Don't put them on cams. Just have their audio then, or recording,
Yeah.
or just have a
Well,
clip of them
that's why
writing
they do
something.
that face cam. That's why they do that face cam on them really close up because they know
Yeah,
how
don't
much
even-
they love the pressure.
Don't even put them on screen. If they don't be on screen, don't even be on screen. I mean, seriously, like, I just don't get like, oh, they're really, really busy. Like, I'm like, okay, they're really busy for like. You're telling me they can't take 30 minutes of. By the way, they're really busy, so they're wasting. Whose money are they wasting for it? Buck? Just a question, like, whose money are they wasting?
well, not mine anymore.
Oh no, but I mean, but your money's fundamentally, you put your money into your money has gone into the 200 million pot or whatever you want to call it for them to develop the game, right? The show has a monthly budget of whatever 270k or whatever roughly it takes from subscription money for the show. So the whole project as a whole, because we know that the 45 million that they've made from the investors is for the marketing budget. So, which is, whatever that is for. So we're talking about them taking 35 minutes, whatever it is, out of their day, developing the game to produce something for the people who subscribe to the game, who give them more money, which can be used for whatever they want to do for other things, and they can't do that.
Well, I personally, and I have it happening once a week. In my office, I'm in a very what I call a hipster office. They have these bicycles behind their desk, balance boards, lunch tables, bars, whatever for kind of shit, and that's the stuff that I'm working next to. Now, once a week, two lovely ladies, very pretty, step into the office and are gonna try to pull everybody behind their desk to do some exercises for 3 minutes. I don't want to be bothered with that shit. Now, look at it as a developer. You're heels deep into coding, and there's a guy coming towards you. He's setting up his cam, and do you want to be on video and explain this and this and this, what we did? And basically, it will just interrupt your work, and I can totally agree if they don't want that, and especially now when the focus is full on this release and on Squadron 42, but especially 3.5 getting to live. You don't want to be bothered with that stuff. So I'm perfectly fine with the fact that they take a 3 weeks off.
Okay, I hear your point of view. So this is my point of view. This is my slight counter to what you're saying.
Here's
my counter. Here's my counter. It's a good point. Okay, so here's my thing. The guy that built the office that you're working in, the guy that's your head boss or whatever, walks into the building and wants to spend 10 minutes with you and talk to you and understand what you're doing. Do you stand there and say to him, "Oh, I'm sorry, dude, I'm really busy. I don't really want to talk to you about this sort of information. Can you just go over there because I need to carry on doing what I'm doing?"
If I'm currently with a priority 1 incident, I will tell him that, and then it's up to him to get me off my chair or not. I leave
Seriously?
the decision to him.
Can
guy-
I counter it as well?
Okay.
Like, if they're
Go
going to
for
do 12 weeks less content, and I agree with Bach, sometimes if they're too busy and it's too distracting, that's fine. Are they going to do 12 weeks reduced sub cost? Because that's really what it boils down to. The sub money was going to these videos. So if they're doing less content, then the sub cost should come down? No? Just
Or they
say
give
that they're
everyone
too busy
stuff
to
for
do the
free.
thing, so therefore we're going to charge less for the subs.
That will be one way, yeah.
Then it's fine. Then you can say, well, that's okay. We're getting less content, but we're paying less.
That would be very nice, and I would agree with that completely. But I still, like I said, I honestly think, like, if like you worked for Virgin Atlantic, and Mr. Branson himself came and sat next to your desk and wanted to talk to you
Wonderful
for 10
guy.
minutes.
He would
Wanted to talk to you for
totally
10
understand.
minutes.
He's so gentle and nice. He smiles very nicely.
He would, but again, we're talking about 24 hours in your day. Again, it's like, not 24 hours. We're talking about a 10-hour day, working day. If you can't find 20 minutes in that time frame, you're potentially in danger, I think, of a BioWare disaster, because that means your staff are working insanely hard, probably to the point of mental exhaustion, and will probably need to take months off for medical leave if the staff are that. And also, I know fully well from talking to many of them, they love us as the community generally. Maybe not me, but they love generally the community. Sure. They love engaging with us. They love talking to us. They love that. So. True.
Could also show how big the pressure is on them right now.
Yeah, again, that's just my point.
Just a camera in the studio going, look at them all fucking almost dying.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you guys are all talking about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's far longer than that. Trust me. These guys, they get this camera shoved up in their face, and they have to repeat sentences, and you're basically talking maybe about 1.5 hours per developer, at least.
How many developers?
Shits and giggles in between, and then the guy can't finish his sentence, forgot his words. You're talking away for an hour quickly. So.
Okay, let's just say an hour and a half then. Let's say like an equivalent of a lunch break. You got 500 staff members. They've got multiple gear all over the place. I think, and then if that's the case, then put Chris on more.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Let's have more of the TP Indian tent talk. That's what I want to know. Let's have more of the. Let's get all of the top brass in a tent about this shape with some smoke, and kind of like, let's get some more ideas flowing. Like, it's kind of, let's get that tent for the chairman, and let's get.
We manage to talk bullshit every week for 2 to 3 hours. I'm sure they can.
Certainly they can. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I get, if there wasn't time and stuff, and it does take a long time for some of the shit, but like I said, they're not charging any different for the subs. If anything, the subs went up, didn't they, or something, when they were doing it. It's just like, you don't charge more for less. Then just say that we want to concentrate more on development. We appreciate your money. If you want to carry on supporting, that's fine, but we're going to reduce the cost because we're not doing so much shows. Because some people are saying, like, ATV, it got to the point where we weren't even getting any real information anyway. So there was no point in just doing it for the sake of doing it. But then reflect that in the cost of the sub. That's all I think. It's like, it's fine. Get what you pay for. I've advocated a consistent, open, persistent PTU that's paid for by the sub money, so that ultimately they can keep throwing in builds, and they can keep constantly giving us updates and other things they can test. They can throw. I would be happy to pay a subscription for an open, some sort of build that comes in on a regular basis. I would happily, if they said to me, okay, this month we're going to be throwing in a new build, whatever, we're going to have an open PTU for 4 weeks for specifically a mining thing that we want to just get you all to test or whatever. Be like, okay, cool, and we need, it's going to cost X amount of money. If they were open about this type of stuff, I think it would be, like anything. Like when we talk about here, like, we need money, we want to upgrade our stream and improve the microphones and all the rest of it, and then the community with us, all spring and help and support and help us out. I'm sure they're all regretting it now. And we'll do the podcast every other week.
Yeah.
Think about it. You get to see us less, and we get some money out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do
exactly. It. So it's. I just.
Like how can you not?
Yeah, exactly.
I just need to buy my flight tickets to Manchester. I will be off now.
Yeah. You're coming to Manchester. I'm gutted now. I'm not able to make it. Damn.
I can't believe
you're not able to make it.
It's such a poor excuse.
Yeah. I mean,
lives in London, can't make it to Manchester. What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm traversing countries.
Yeah.
Same as Bach to get to Manchester.
I have other commitments, unfortunately, on that day. I hate to say it. That are more important to keeping a marriage going.
Yeah, but just think of how much free time you'll have if you didn't have that marriage.
Yeah, right.
And,
But
and guess what? You
if
get
the
to
flight
pay
model
a
worked,
monthly
things would be
subscription
different.
as well. You get to pay her a monthly subscription.
Shut up.
Oh dear. Never mind. Okay.
My God.
Let's
Right.
probably wrap it up now.
I think. I
You've got a little
didn't do.
video to show.
Where's the video?
No. I sent you it in Discord.
Who in
In
chat is
Discord.
going to BritisCon, by the way?
Yes. So we're going to advertise some BritisCon, 27th of April.
Yes,
something like
April
that.
27th. Yeah.
Yes. Manchester, if you haven't got your tickets yet, go and buy your tickets. Lots
Oh,
of
Cruise is coming.
What
lots
the
of
fuck
devs
is
have
this?
confirmed. Just
What?
don't look at it. Just show it off on the stream. It's fine. Right. Just so yeah. If you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets. I don't know if he's got the actual command on. Let's have a look.
JR.
I bet he hasn't on his bot, but we'll try. Oh, yeah, he has. There you go. You can go there and buy your tickets.
JR.
27th of April.
Love you guys.
JRDF's going to be there. There may potentially be
Relation.
something that you can have a look at some of their products that they do.
Oh,
And talk to
Phantom
them, find
Killer.
out how they make their desks and all that computer stuff. Things that don't overheat, luckily, and things like that. Sorry, I was just laughing at a video. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't got your tickets, come along. It's well worth it. Lots of devs have said that they're going to be going. There will be a live stream. I'm not sure 100% if I'm going to be on it anymore, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely go.
sorry, I just watched this video.
Go on then, man. Go and show the video.
I'll show it in a second. I'm having to just like take a moment to take a breather. Okay, right. Am I showing this on the? I'm going to show
Time
this. I don't
Yeah,
know how I'm
another
going to show
time lapse.
this. I'll have to show this on
Time
this
lapse?
video here.
What,
hang
of
on,
your
transition.
shoes?
That's similar. It's a
Ships.
time lapse of madness. No. I have done another time lapse actually. If you want to see. Oh, I've got a correct name on this one. If you ask a question about the flight model.
What is this? This is Chris Roberts on steroids.
It's bad about the flight model.
Oh, we should put a high-pitched voice underneath it. But for a moment, you look like a German.
Oh, this is fucking brilliant. Oh. Oh my god.
This is 5 times.
5 times the speed.
This is
Hey, more content than an ATV. Don't complain.
True.
I'm making Chris proud.
You're
Oh.
already talking that fast.
Dear. This is why I just like didn't speak this podcast.
Yeah.
Please don't ask him to shit. Oh my god.
Oh,
That is
beautiful,
absolutely
beautiful.
priceless. Thank you so much. I'm going to have to make that. That's going to have to be my intro. I'm going to have to download
created
that.
this?
I'm going to have to put the intro.
Oh,
JR. Thanks, JR.
Oh, cool.
Thank
So
you.
I've been up in their skills at trolling recently.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Clearly, you're not making enough models. That's all I'm saying right now. I also was going to say, talking about JR and J models, thank you for reminding me. Painting. So, like, I think Miz and I spoke about it. Bok is fantastic with 3D printing. Miz is fantastic with painting. I'm crap with both of those things generally, I think. So I'm going to have to try and learn them both at some point. But I think we've noticed something that we're actually quite a creative bunch of dudes. So I think we are probably going to try and do some more creative stuff on the show. So watch this watch this space. I think we might, with the lack of content potentially coming from CIG, don't be surprised, seriously, in the next couple of weeks if you notice a few changes to the podcast in terms of maybe the length of time that we dedicate to Star Citizen and maybe do some other stuff. We may do some other things coming around. So we'll be very clear and open about what we're doing. But we may mix some things up as we go along, because at the end of the day, all three of us don't really even want that, what you just saw in the video of us just kind of going over and over the same kind of thing. Like, that's not really cool. And I certainly don't want to wail on Star Citizen week after week and talk about the same shit. I've done my piece. I've said my thing. We'll wait for we'll wait for now. I'm waiting now really for 3.6 in truth. So, I don't want to do that every week. It's not cool. It's like beating your girlfriend up, It's like, it's just not something you want to do. As a rule, generally. It's not a good thing.
No,
you can't.
It's not like no.
No, it's like I think we have a relationship between me and
I
Thursday.
punch her every
it's
night.
not something you want to do, but you've done it anyway.
She just inflates.
That's putting words into my mouth, Miz. Right. Okay. So, but as Matt has completely ruined the end of the show, let's find someone to host.
Okay. Yeah.
As a generally. Sorry, did I actually say generally? I don't kind of like. Never mind. We'll move past that terrible ending. This is where sometimes actually thinking before you speak is a good thing. Right. Let's go to. This is like, what the fuck? It's called jet lag and far too much cocaine from Pepsi Cola.
Right. Did you say cocaine?
Cocaine.
Wow.
I think I'm on the same stuff Chris has been doing. Chris, have you been drinking Pepsi? Chris has been drinking Pepsi. He spiked my drink. Right. Let's go to Twitch.
This reminds anyone else of an ATV.
Yeah, just crash. That's what you get.
It's far too long. It's far too long for it to be in an ATV.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna throw you guys over. Should we go to Red Lear? Throw everyone to Red Lear tonight. I haven't done that.
Why not?
Red Lear for a while. By the way, ask him about Auto Gimbals and AIM. He loves talking about that.
He just had 2 hours of it.
He loves talking about that sort of conversation. Absolutely
one hand flying and one hand drinking. That's his game.
Right.
Oh, one hand. No, never mind.
Fapping.
Cool.
Could be.
Anyway,
fly at the same time.
It has been an enormous pleasure to be back. I hope I wasn't too salty for everybody. It's all going to get good, guys. I'm sure it will. To be fair,
it couldn't get much less salty. I mean, it was pretty much there.
Just it'll get better when I figured out some stuff. Cool.
How to fly.
Yeah.
Madness can't fly.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out and putting up with it.
Take care,
and
everybody.
I will see you all
next
week.
Monday. Or
Monday.
Before then, who knows?
Should be awesome. I have to press the button, don't I?
Yeah, otherwise we just look like tits.
Yep. We're tits.
Triple tits from Total Recall.
Wee-hoo!
Woo! There we go. Can't hear him.
What's going on, kids? I love the guy.